The Blackfyre Rebellion was one of the most important events in Targaryen history, and one of the main reasons why the house would eventually lose the Iron Throne. I don't know why, but apparently the Targaryens love fighting among themselves. Maybe because they didn't have any powerful enemies to focus on, they instead turned their attention inward and started fighting one another. The Dance of the Dragons almost wiped out the dragons, and the Blackfyre rebellions wiped out peace within Westeros, splitting the realm into two sides that would battle for many years. In fact, the conflict is still echoing in the original story. But who are the Blackfyres? Didn't I say that the Targaryens love fighting among themselves? It all started during the reign of Aegon IV, nicknamed Aegon the Unworthy. Aegon was one of the worst kings in the history of Westeros. Aegon was a decadent and corrupt ruler who indulged his passions and whims at every opportunity. At first it began with small pleasures, but over time his appetites knew no bounds, and his corruption and oppression led to actions that would haunt the realm for generations. He filled his court not with men who were noble, wise, or honest, but with those who could flatter and amuse him. The women at court were largely those who could do the same, allowing him to indulge his lusts. On a whim, he would give to one house while taking from another. He deprived men of their rightful inheritance whenever he desired their wealth, as rumors claim he did after the death of Lord Ossifer Plum on his wedding day. Aegon gave away priceless treasures to lords who pleased him. For example, on one of his many journeys, he gifted a dragon egg to Lord Butterwell after staying at his castle, and allegedly impregnating his host's 3 maiden daughters in a single night. By the end of his reign, Aegon was bloated and obese, his eyes nearly lost in the fat of his face, his legs too weak to support his massive body. You can easily imagine what his court looked like based on this description, but the spark that truly split House Targaryen in two was not just how badly Aegon ruled the realm. The real problem was that Aegon despised his legitimate son, the true heir to the throne. Aegon's wife was his sister, Nerys Targaryen, and together they had a son named Daemon Targaryen. Aegon hated both of them so deeply that he spread rumors claiming that Nerys had cheated on him with his brother Aemon, and that Daemon was actually Aemon's son, making him a bastard and unfit to inherit the throne. Aegon also had many bastards, and he frequently threatened to name one of them his heir instead of Daemon. His favorite bastard was Daemon Waters, born to Aegon's cousin, Daena Targaryen. Daemon was a naturally gifted warrior, and when he was only 12 years old, King Aegon knighted him and gifted him the legendary sword Blackfyre, the same blade once wielded by Aegon the Conqueror. This was the moment when all the trouble truly began for House Targaryen. The sword Blackfyre was always seen as a symbol of royal succession. By giving this symbol not to Daemon, the lawful heir, but to Daemon, a bastard, Aegon was essentially telling the entire realm that he wanted Daemon to succeed him as king. However, this could not legally happen because Daemon was still a bastard. On his deathbed, Aegon lit the fire that would burn everything down. He legitimized all of his bastards, meaning that they could now all press claims to the Iron Throne. Suddenly, Daemon found himself in an extremely difficult position. He remained first in line as the eldest legitimate son, but now there were 3 major rivals. The most dangerous was Daemon, who abandoned the name Waters and took the name Blackfyre. The other 2 were Igor Rivers, known as Bittersteel, and Brynden Rivers, known as Bloodraven. After Aegon's death, Daemon ascended the throne and he proved to be a capable and diligent king. He worked hard to repair the damage caused by his father and attempted to maintain peaceful relations with his half-brothers. Daemon's greatest achievement was bringing Dorne into the 7 kingdoms. The Targaryens had tried for generations to conquer Dorne, but every attempt ended in failure. Daemon succeeded not through conquest but through diplomacy, marrying the Dornish princess Maria Martell. Because of this union, Dorne gained significant political influence and privileges that the other great houses did not enjoy. This angered many lords across Westeros, who began plotting rebellion and offering their support to Daemon Blackfyre. Remember how I mentioned Aegon's other sons, Bittersteel and Bloodraven? These 2 despised each other for many reasons, but the most personal was their shared love for their sister Shira Seastar. Both men loved her, but Shira chose Bloodraven, leaving Bittersteel consumed by resentment. This was one of the main reasons why Bittersteel urged Daemon to rebel and claim the throne for himself. Daemon had the name. He had the true symbol of succession, the Blackfire sword, and he had growing support. Seeing so many lords rally behind him, Daemon declared himself the rightful heir to the Iron Throne and branded Daeron a bastard. He claimed that war was the only way for the true king to rule. This marked the beginning of the First Blackfyre Rebellion. The Blackfire banner bore a black dragon on a red field, while the Targaryens displayed a red dragon on black. This was the moment the dragon truly split in two, one red, one black. Many of the great houses of Westeros, such as the Lannisters and Martells, remained loyal to King Daemon, while smaller houses sided with Blackfyre. This made sense. The great houses wanted to preserve their power, while the lesser lords hoped to gain influence if the rebellion succeeded. Battles erupted across Westeros, but the decisive clash was the Battle of the Redgrass Field. There, Daemon Blackfyre faced Sir Gwaine Corbray of the Kingsguard, who wielded the Valyrian steel sword Lady Forlorn. After a long and brutal duel, Daemon defeated Gwaine. However, Daemon was an honorable man, and instead of finishing his enemy, he dismounted to help the wounded knight reach safety. Bloodraven seized this opportunity and ordered a volley of arrows. Daemon Blackfyre and two of his sons were killed in the barrage. Seeing Daemon dead, Bittersteel seized the Blackfyre sword and retreated with the remaining rebels. Along with Daemon's surviving sons and followers, Bittersteel fled to Essos, where he founded a powerful mercenary company known as the Golden Company. With that, the First Blackfyre Rebellion came to an end. But the war was far from over. In total, there would be 5 Blackfyre Rebellions. If you're interested, I can make another video covering all of them. For now, I'm stopping here because continuing would spoil major elements of the new Game of Thrones spin-off, A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. Let me know in the comments if you want to see more.